So happy you could join us today. I can see some of you. Thank you. I have a feeling some of you were home today from school because of the snow day. So we're here to bring some crafternoon fun. It's a great afternoon for crafts. Every afternoon is a great afternoon for crafts. We're going to do pop-up cards today. Some of you might have pop-up books at home. Can you see this one, for example? If I open it up, you can see how they jump off of the page. Trying to see if you can see that. So we are going to try to do something like that, but cards, a gift card to give to our loved ones. So I've got a few designs that we're going to do today. And I think the first one, I'll show you a couple of them first, and then we'll start in with one. So yeah, I think that'll be handy. Now I'll be able to show you a little bit more. So pop-up cards kind of look like this. Okay, when you open them up, they burst out, they jiggle and they wiggle. Take a look at this one as well. If I turn it my way, no, I think it's upside down for you. Okay, so if I pull on the dog's tongue, the ears go up and you can see his eyes. So we're going to do a couple of these today. And I think we're going to start with a simple one just to get us warmed up. Here's another fun one. And take a look. This is called the Waterfall. You see how those hearts move? And in the end, it says, I love you. You can write any message. You can even write messages on each of the hearts. These are just very, very simple examples. And then look at these 3D hearts on the top as well. I can show you how to make those. Another example, hopefully we have time to do all of these, but take a look at that bouquet. Now I haven't decorated the front. I haven't written anything on the inside. I'm going to let you guys do that afterwards, but I'm going to show you the techniques on how to do all of that. What's the other one I've got here? We might not have time to do all of these, but you can take a look at how, you see how I've cut that out? Super easy, looks complicated, but once you know how to do it, you won't be fooled. Here's another kind of pop-up card. I love Easter, which is coming up soon. Lots of chocolate and decorated eggs. And another, this is a waterfall again, if you remember the heart one I just showed you. And this one I put tassels on the bottom so you can open it up and see my animal drawings in there. So you can write anything on the inside of those, of these pieces of paper. So let's start with our very first one, and it is going to be this one. So what you need to do this is you're going to need a standard piece of paper, 8.5 by 11 is perfect. And you'll need any other kind of paper to cut out as well. The figure, we'll probably need a little bit of yellow or any color to do the beak. And the eye, you don't need a Google eye. You can draw the eye if you like as well. So first thing, and sorry, one more piece of paper you're going to need is just another random color, whatever color you like. Okay, so let's start. We're going to take, let me move these out of the way. Don't see them too much. Okay, so we're going to take this and we're going to start folding from the short end. And you want to get it nice and even. Take your pencil and ruler, not necessary, but helpful, and do like 2 centimeters on each side, okay? Okay. I don't bother drawing a line. I can see those 2 little marks that I made, and then I turn it over and I simply find those 2 marks, go like that and fold it, okay? Oops, does not have to be exact, okay? And once you've started it, then you flip it and go the other way, okay? So you're creating an accordion that measures about 2 centimeters, give or take, okay? You're gonna flip it and keep going. Everybody doing okay? If you have any questions, you can turn your mic on and ask them, or you can, as Dan said, you can put a note in the chat box, or get an adult friend to help you do that. Okay. And we can answer your questions. Okay, so just move those out of the way a tiny bit. Okay. Do you know pop-up cards have been around for the last 700 years? It's not a new phenomenon. It's just that they weren't used for the purpose that we're using them for now until more recently. Okay, here we go, getting to the end. Now, I'm going to wait. Everybody ready? Okay. See, some participants are done this far, correct? Yay. Okay, then you're going to take this and you're going to fold it in half. Okay, there you go. So it looks like this. Okay, lovely. Then we're going to take another piece of paper and I'm just going to put it right inside here like that. Okay, it can be any color paper, but this is what your body is going to be made out of. Okay, so looks like that. You try to show it a little bit there. You can see how the purple paper is inside in the middle of the green paper. Okay, and then what we're going to do is we're going to try to draw a body like this. So let's turn it around this way, might give you a better sense of what we want to do. Okay, so to draw the body, let me put this on, maybe that'll help us show it a tiny bit more there. No, we need something a bit heavier. Let's go. Okay, you can see it a tiny bit. So back over here, what we're going to do is line that up once again. Take your pencil. Okay, I need to look at how I did mine last time. So let me take a look at it this way. Okay.
So Dianne, I'm just seeing that we've had some new friends join us. So if we quickly catch them up.
Absolutely. So for our friends who are just joining us, super simple. Any piece of paper, could be white. I've got lots of colors over here. These colors are easy to show you guys on camera. So those of you who are just joining us, take an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper. Start from this end, the short end, and you're going to mark it about 2 centimeters. I'm going to eyeball it this time, about 2 centimeters like that. And then you're going to start folding in an accordion fashion. Okay, so here we go, where I put those 2 little dots. Okay, and then I'm going to flip my page over and I'm going to continue folding in the accordion way. Okay, you keep going, continue, and eventually you're going to come to the end and you're going to end up with a piece of paper that looks like this. Okay, accordions. Great. Then what we're going to do, fold it in half. Okay. Then we've got another piece of paper, and mine looks kind of funny because I've been cutting things out of it, but doesn't need to have all these things on it at all. Any kind of piece of paper like that. And put this over here. See how I've put it in the middle, in between, just like that. Okay. And then I kind of drew a body. So look at how I did that. I'll draw it in marker in just a second, but I'm starting with my pencil and I'm kind of creating the head like that, and then like a body, okay? So in the end, it's gonna look like a bird. Got it? Can you see that? Okay. Then when we're ready, we're gonna cut that out, okay? Here we go. Now, remember, you see where I've drew the circle there? I'm not going to cut there. In fact, I'm going to erase that. I only put the circle on there so it would give me an idea of the shape of the head, okay? So no, we don't want to cut that line. We want to cut right around the body. There we go. Okay, and you can see I've still got a lot of pencil on there. Well, I can erase that. Super easy. Just being careful that you don't tear the paper. I use pretty thin paper for this one, so it's not quite as sturdy. For this other one that I'm showing you here, I used construction paper. So construction paper is a little bit thicker, has a little bit more weight, a little bit more body to it, okay? So that's what the body is going to look like. That's what I tried to do here. See that? It's very similar. Right. Then I'm going to tape it, I'm going to glue it in there. But look how the body's kind of long. I think that's too long. If I were to stick it in just like that, oh, that would still be okay. But I think what I'm going to do is trim it just a little bit over here. Okay, so it doesn't protrude quite as much from the feathers because these are the feathers. Okay. So let's glue that down. This is the easiest way to glue it is glue stick. The wonders of glue sticks. Okay, and you will notice that I put glue on this entire thing. That's because we're going to put the body in there and then we are going to fold it and glue it together. Okay, there we go. So you've got something that now looks like that. Okay, I'm going to open up. Great thing about glue sticks is the glue dries really quickly. You can use any glue. You can use white glue if you want, but there you go. Okay. Super. So before we do the face, no, let's continue. Let's finish the face and the beak before we move on. There we go. So taking a little bit of yellow or orange paper, whatever you like. I'm going to cut this off, just this off. That's all we need is a little piece. I am going to create a beak that looks like the one on our friend here. You can see. Okay. So easy way to do this is to fold it in half. Okay. Got my little yellow piece of paper. Fold it in half. I see some of you working away. That looks great. Okay, then what I'm going to do is I want that fold, so I'm not going to cut on that fold. I'm actually going to go like this and create what is going to be the beak. Now, I'm going to draw it a little bit darker so you can see it. Can you see that? Okay, then I'm going to cut that out. By folding it and cutting it, it means it's going to be exactly the same on each side. So in the end, when I open it up, it looks like something weird like this. Okay, there it is. But when I fold it, I can make it a little bit pointier for the beak. Okay, here we go. Trim it, get it, but it's still connected. I still haven't cut this part here, so it's still folded right there. Okay, and then I simply open it up. This is the tricky part, getting it open here. Okay. Okay. And I put a little bit of glue on each side. Doesn't need too much. Okay. Oops. And then I put it on my peacock right here, anywhere you want. Okay. See that? How's everybody doing? Got it? Okay. So next thing we need to do is draw an eye on it. So get a marker. Let me just test that my marker is working. Some of them weren't working that well the other day. Okay. You can do any kind of eye you like. Okay. Just be careful. If you're using permanent markers, make sure you've got a piece of paper underneath. Otherwise, your marker might go right through to the kitchen table. Mom won't be happy with that. So you can work on like a placemat or another piece of paper. Okay. Great. Mine's gonna have some eyelashes. Now you will notice on the other one that I did, the sample that I made the other day, I put a Google eye. You can do that too if you have Google eyes at home, but it's not necessary. You can still draw them on, or we can cut out dots and stick them on as well. Here, let me move that down a little bit for you. Okay, so next thing we're gonna do is we need to cut out the feet. You see the 2 feet that the peacock has got? So taking yellow, orange, any color you want, it's just fine. I'm going to use my yellow once again. And cut out a piece. Okay. I'm going to fold it in half once again. And this is because then we'll have 2 feet that look exactly the same. So pretty simple to do. The fold in this case, we're not going to end up using the fold, not like we did for the beak. So it really doesn't matter. The only reason I folded it is so that I can get 2 the same. You don't have to fold. You could take 2 pieces of paper and put one on top of the other and do it that way as well. Okay, so let's do, you see, okay, great. Here we go. We're going to do 3 toes, something like that. Okay, you can draw them however you want. And when you're ready, just trim them. Sometimes what I do is I draw them really big and then I cut on the inside of the pencil mark or the pen or whatever I use to draw with so that the pencil doesn't show afterwards. That's my little trick. Okay, cut around. So the term pop-up book wasn't really used until about 1930. Prior to that, they called them movable books. They called them peak books because you could open them up and there was another word, Venetian blind books. They had a few different terms, but the term wasn't really coined until about 1930. Okay, So now we're ready to assemble. We've got all of our parts ready, and I'm just going to move a few of these things out of the way. And move these up a little bit. There we go. Okay, clean up the view a little bit. So taking another piece of paper. Now this could be cardstock. So mine is a little bit thicker, but doesn't have to be. Could be construction paper, that's a bit thicker, or it can be just regular white bond paper, or this is like colored photocopy paper, just the same as white bond paper, but it's got color on it, okay? Then I'm going to fold this in half. And if you want to make a nice crisp edge to it, you can take your pencil and just run it along like that. Makes it nice and crisp. Okay. When you open it up, we are going to put our feet on there like that. Okay. You can put them anywhere, but we have to stick the feet on first, because then when we put the body on, we're going to put the body on top of the feet. So it looks like the feet are coming out from underneath the plumage of the peacock. Okay, so once again, handy dandy glue stick. I am going to put some glue on my feet. Okay. Okay. Oh, I see some really pretty creations there. Okay, so we are ready. Now what we have to do is glue our peacock on. And what we're going to do is we're going to make sure we position it so that the feet, I'll turn it around, might be easier, so that the feet are coming out from under the plumage, okay? So I simply fold it back down. I am going to take some of my glue stick and I'm going to put it on this half, okay? And I'm going to lay it on top of the feet, just making sure the feet are going to peep out, okay? Hold that down, dries pretty quickly. Then on this side, we're going to take a bit more glue, okay? And I'm going to fold it over like that. Whoops, make sure I didn't quite get that even. Okay, make sure I get that down there even. Okay, and then when you open it up, it should pop up like this. How did everyone do? Anybody want to share their creations? Can hold them up to the camera when you're ready. Beautiful. And some smiley faces too, I see out there. And then you can write whatever you want on it. We won't finish the cards because you can actually keep these for a special day, Mother's Day, a birthday that's coming up. Family Day was yesterday. Okay, and then you can give them to whoever you like, okay? Here we go. I see most of you are done. Let's just wait for a couple of our other friends. Isn't that fun? They look fantastic. You guys are pros. Beautiful. Okay, you want to do another one? There's lots more where that came from. Okay, let's keep going. Love them. Okay, next one. Next one we're going to do is our heart waterfall. Remember how that goes like that? Doom, doom, doom. Okay, so for this one, we are going to need 7 pieces of paper that measure 7 by 7 centimeters, okay? So 7, 7, 7. Let's get 7 pieces of paper. Can be any color. They could be the same color. There we go. I'm going to use the orange that I had. And some blue. Some yellow. Okay. I've got some pink left over, and I've got some green. How many colors have I got so far? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Only 5 here. Doesn't have to be 7. It can be any number you like. I'm going to use this light yellow that I've got. Okay, and a little bit of another light color. A little bit of green. Okay, so those are my colors. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 colors. Okay, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put them all together. So they're all together down here at this in the corner. Okay, then I'm going to take my ruler and I will measure 7 centimeters. Over. Okay, and 7 this way too. Okay, make sure I'm in your line of view here. Okay, then I'm going to draw my square. Now, because I've got them all together and because my paper isn't very thick, I am going to cut them all out together. Maybe you can get an older sibling or an adult to help you. If not, you can cut them separately. Let me just measure again. They look small. 7 and 7. Nope, I'm good. Okay, move these papers out of the way. And now I've got 7 small squares. Okay. And then, oops, this one, I didn't quite measure that one. I got the short side of that yellow. So I am going to draw another one. And I'm just going to trace it here. Could use my ruler, but I'll just trace it. Let me just check to make sure. Okay, the others look all right. It's just that one. Got a little bit wonky there. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take 3 and I'm going to put all 3 together. Got it? Then I'm going to fold them in half just once. Okay. Then I'm going to draw a heart. So remember, our hearts are going to open up. So I draw it like here. Okay. I use the whole sheet, as much of it as I can. Sketch on a heart. Okay, now I'll draw it a little bit darker so you can see it, hopefully. Okay. I'm going to cut them out. Okay, yay. And I'm not going to open them. I'm just going to leave them like that for a moment. That's because I'm going to take my other 4 sheets of paper. I'm going to do the same, put one on top of the other, and then fold them. Now this is quite thick. If it's too thick, you can do 2 at a time. But the important part is we want them all to be exactly the same. So I'm going to put this one right on top and I'm going to trace it. Okay. Here we go. Trace it around. Sometimes I don't even trace. Sometimes I just cut it out. There we go. Can you see that? Okay. And we will cut these out as well. Okay. I now have 7 different hearts. Okay. So this paper is very thin. You know, it's like the white photocopy paper, which I also used over here. If you use construction paper, your hearts will be a little bit thicker and have a little more body, which is fine too. Okay, super. So let's keep those aside just for a sec. Now what we need is a piece of paper. For this one, I do like to use construction paper. I'm going to use red because the construction paper gives it a little more sturdiness. Not necessary to use construction paper, but I'm going to do it. Okay. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to measure 7 centimeters on the long, let me see, get that in your view, on the long side. Okay. So 7 and 7. Okay. Draw a line. And then I'm going to cut that out. Okay. Okay. Then on this, I'm going to measure up 7 centimeters because remember that first heart is 7 centimeters high, right? So I am going to take this, my ruler, and measure up 7 centimeters. And over here. And then draw a line. Okay, can you kind of see that? It's hard with the pencil on the red. Then from that line, I am going to measure 1 centimeter intervals. Okay. And I'll make them a little bit darker so you can see. So those are my intervals right there. Okay. Great. Got to do that on the other side too. This one, it is important to put the little ticks on each side because we're going to be folding this. So it's helpful to have them on each side. Okay. Then I'm going to draw my lines. Okay. There, I put one too many on there. Whoops. Okay, can you see that? There, that's a better view. See all those lines? Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start folding. I'm going to start at that first one. And it should be kind of easy to fold because your pencil is kind of scored it a little bit. Just put a little indent in the paper, but I'm not doing the accordion. I am doing a waterfall. You see that? I just keep folding it down and down and down. Okay. Okay. Great. So it's bent like that, which is what we want. Now what I'm going to do is I am going to measure halfway. So you know that this is 7 centimeters wide. At 3.5, I'm going to put a little dot, and then at 3.5 up here, another little dot, and then I'm going to do a line. And this is just to help us. Okay, so we know where the middle is. Great. So first one on there is what we do is stick that very first one on, okay? And you'll notice I've only put glue in the upper parts of the heart, okay? Don't put it on the entire heart because we want the hearts to move. If you put it on the whole heart, they won't move. They're gonna stick on there. Okay, set. Now what I do is I have to glue on the other ones. So there are a few ways of doing this. I like to go like this so that I know exactly where, exactly where to put the glue. And I'm going to put the glue on those two sections right there, okay? There and there, okay? So that's what we do, just a little bit of glue. And again, oops, glue stick is one of my favorite. Glue stick and masking tape, those are my two favorite things, okay? And we're going to keep doing that all the way up to the top. Okay. I'm going to draw all of the hearts on here. And then I'm going to do all of the glue in one go. And then I'll stick all the hearts on. Okay. Oops, dear. Okay, so you can see I've got it all marked there with little kind of like notches type thing where the hearts are going to be glued. So I just simply go up like this, put a tiny bit of glue on each one, and then start. Okay, your hearts can go in any order. If you cut out rainbow colors, try to get them in the order of a rainbow. Okay, yay. Okay, so you can see how that's gonna go, just like that. So when that's done, you're gonna flip the whole thing over. We need to cut a piece of paper here out of red. So I'm gonna go back to my red sheet of paper, and it has to be your 7 centimeters. So I measure 7 centimeters. Okay. And then I cut that out. Okay. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and I am going to glue it onto the back of that very first heart. Okay, so remember, it looks like this, but I've simply flipped it over. Okay, and I'm going to put glue on this bottom square, which is 7 by 7. And there we go. I'm going to put this on. Okay, and when I flip it over, it looks like that. Taking a piece of another piece of paper. It could be any kind of paper, but I happen to have a little bit of cardstock here. Same thing. We're going to fold this in half. Okay. I'm going to use my pencil to flatten it down a little bit. Okay. And then I'm going to fold this like that. Open it up. And I'm going to glue it in. Now you will notice that this horizontal, this cross piece that I just glued on is a little bit big. Doesn't matter, we're going to trim it so it will fit right on, right in the card, okay? So I'm going to take a little bit off of each side so that it'll be kind of even. Okay, let's see if that fits in. Great. Okay. Still a bit big actually, so I got to take a tiny sliver off the side of that. Okay, so here we go, right? I need to put glue on these two flaps. So I'm going to turn it over and I'm going to put glue just here and here. Okay, here we go. Doesn't need too much. And it can go just about anywhere you want in the card. Okay. And then if you take this tab and you pull it down, you can see how the hearts move. Okay. Oops, hard to get that last one. Now, the tab part, we can do all kinds of things for that. We could do like a little, could cut this off and make an arrow so the person who gets the card knows that they have to pull that tab. Okay. So I'm going to simply trim this to create an arrow. Okay. You could even write pull, or like I did on one of my other ones, you can take any kind of yarn or a little bit of fabric, anything like that, and you can staple it on. Again, on some of my other ones, I didn't bother. I didn't have a stapler handy, so it's not necessary. But if you do have the equipment at home, you can easily do that. Okay. There you go. How did everybody do with that one? Anybody want to share their creations? This one was a little bit more complicated, wasn't it? Does yours move? Does yours do the waterfall?
Wow.
Fantastic. Beautiful colors. It takes a lot, eh? Yeah, it takes a lot of practice to do these things. You know what? They have people called paper engineers. Love that. Love your colors. And paper engineers, you can't really study to be a paper engineer. Mostly designers do it. And there are books with lots of instructions on how to do things. Many of today's pop-up books are produced by different publishers, but they're printed. Many of them are printed in Colombia. And that's because there's been a company there called Cara Graphics in Colombia that's been set up for years and years and years. And they print all of the little pieces that go into a pop-up book. I brought lots of examples to show you guys. Okay, this is my monster pop-up book. So what the printers do, the designers will do all of this work. They'll come up with all of the cutouts and stuff, and then they send everything off to the printer. And again, the vast majority are printed in Colombia. And then there will be a big machine cutting out. It's called a die cutter, D-I-E cutter. And it cuts out all of the shapes. And then what they do is they send all of that to Ecuador. There's a city in Ecuador called Ibarra, and that's where they put the books together. The vast majority of the books that you buy, even today, have been printed in Colombia and assembled in Ecuador. Okay, so is everybody happy with their creations? You can make lots more. You can get ready for birthdays, Mother's Day, Father's Day. What else is coming up? We've got the Victoria long weekend. That's not till May. You can start now making all of your creations. Okay. And you can write any message in them at all. And remember, for the waterfall one, you don't always have to do hearts. You could put anything in there. Like I put little drawings in this one of mine that I showed you at the beginning. Okay. So you can see all of my little animal drawings that I put in there. You can do anything like that. Decorate them. So next week, I hope you join me, because next week we are going to be working with yarn. Okay, we're going to do a couple of crafts with yarn. So make sure you gather all of that extra yarn around the house, or from your aunt and uncle's house, from grandma's house, any of those extra things. The dollar store now sells yarn, very affordable. Can be any kind of leftover yarn, thick or thin. We're going to do we're going to do some fun things next week with yarn crafts. Okay, we will put all of the information on the website as well, along with a few other materials that you should bring with you next week. Things like scissors and stuff like that. Okay, does anyone have any questions? You can ask, or you can put them in the chat box. Everybody's good. You did an amazing job today.
Great.
Fantastic work.
Thank you so much, Diane. So I just want to quickly share with those who are watching this recorded session, if you're unaware of where to find the information on what materials you'll need for Crafternoons with Dianne Pearce, I'm just going to quickly show you. So you can open up any search browser and just type in Google, and here you will search Oakville. If I could type it, virtual, oh boy, programs. If you need an adult to help you with it, please feel free to ask. I'm sure they would be happy to help you find this. So Oakville Virtual Programs, here you will find our virtual recreation programs. Now, this is where it's really easy to get lost, but you're going to click on the middle one. This is our free virtual programs. Now, this is where you will find all of craft supplies for Crafternoons with Dianne Pearce. So each week we will post exactly what you need in order to be prepared for that week's activities. You can also watch past episodes of Crafternoons with Dianne Pearce, and this is right where you jump in to join us. So we hope to see you next week. If you have any questions, you can certainly reach out to public.art@oakville.ca. That's in your chat box function. For those of you who still have your Zoom open and are participating live, I have now posted the link for how you can get directly to the free virtual programs webpage. That's all we have for today's session. We really, really hope you join us next Tuesday at 3:45. Great work, everybody.
Bye, everyone. Have a nice evening.